As we continue to battle our way through the Highline Diecast Collectibles Bracket Challenge, we welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Darlington Speedway, where we get set to go racing for the second round in the mid-season tournament. My name is Little Ramble alongside Brad Daniels. We bring you all of racing action from start to finish here this afternoon. Brad, we enter the second race in this one. 32 drivers initially was on the cars. Now only 16 remain in the challenge. And it is looking like if that first race didn't go by, we could be in for a doozy of a championship here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously Darlington, being the driver's track that it is, will bring out the best in some drivers and the worst in others. I think for the drivers trying to push through this bracket, this is going to be a tall testament if they are able to make it to the round of 8.
Going to take a look at that official bracket challenge and the resulting standings now as we try to see who's going to be going into the next round at Martinsville. It's Jason Garcia squaring off against Nate Cotilla for the first pair. And then, of course, you got Joey Bear alongside Tim Branson. Mello squares off against Montembeau with Kulikowski and Jason Shue. On the other side of the ladder, Austin Weingard fights against David Farella. And then, of course, you got Zachary Cox and Josiah Vincent. Nicholas Coate will square off against Ryan Newman. And then Terrell Wheeler's opponent, Ronnie Norman, this afternoon. So quite a lot of drivers going to be having a rough fight this afternoon.
You know, you want to call by seedings, but, you know, upsets, since it is March Madness season right now, isn't really too, crazy to say right now. You saw Jason Garcia's technically in that 32 seed, but, making it to the second round, I think it's definitely going to be another wild week here for Darlington in this bracket.
Got a helping hand there as his opponent got knocked out in that first race, failed to finish the race. So welcome on board to the Darlington Speedway, where race and action is set to come to life once again. It's a track that needs no introduction. It's the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame, and a track that absolutely hates to be abused and likes to repay the favor and then some. 91 degrees Fahrenheit for what we are hearing. It is slick out there. Tire degradation, a bit of a jokingly stat, but it was anticipated. Yeah, tires last around 5 laps. That's an indication of what kind of race we might be in for tonight.
Yeah, driving on ice cubes and feeling like you're real close and personal with everyone around you. Darlington is definitely not the comfortablest place that these drivers will be at, and definitely in the cockpit, I know at Darlington it is hurtful to sometimes try to get through these corners and not hit anybody in the process.
Well, all of that is going to take us into racing action here this afternoon. Before we get to the main race of the main show tonight, a quick shout out to the guys that keep the lights on here. This race brought to you by Highline Diecast Collectibles, your go-to source for high-quality NASCAR diecast and memorabilia. Whether you're hunting for the latest releases, rare finds, or looking to sell your own collection, they've got you covered. Plus, don't miss their live auctions every week on Facebook and whatnot, where you score incredible deals on must-have collectibles and place your pre-orders on NASCAR's latest diecast at HighlineDiecast.com, where passion for racing meets collectible perfection. And as well as that, by Twisted Steel Steak Appeal. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Blue has a solid punch of sweet and a heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there. Marty Blue is an award-winning Steak Cook-Off Association chef and has finally revealed her secret resting rub to blow you away with flavor. Steak veggies, fish, pork, and poultry. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. Of course, got plenty of other sponsors, and we'll get the chance to talk about them later on this afternoon. In the meantime, only 25 seconds before this warm-up session draws to a close this afternoon. What do you think we could be in for? Are we looking at an early race yellow, or will this go the way of the High Tide Racing League, where most of the race actually goes by caution-free?
I'm really thinking a lot of drivers came in today to just try to keep themselves alive nonetheless, and I don't think we'll get a lap 1 caution unless somebody spins the tires on the restart, but I'm hoping these opening 25 or so laps will at least get everyone in the feel of things here in the Lady in Black.
So all of that will take us into racing action this afternoon, and with that, it is about time to see who is going to be starting where, as we got yourselves the starting grid coming on up here at the Darlington Raceway. As we roll into the race session for the next 135 laps, it is going to be Jordan Fisher starting alongside Grant Applegate. TI Racing locking out the front row, 1 and 2. Row 2 on the grid, Martin Plouffe brings it up against Austin Thompson, making his debut here this afternoon, with row 3 holding Jason Garcias and Ethan Amberg. Row 4, you got Garrett Austin. He is alongside Nicholas Coate. with the top 10 headed up by Matt Montembeau and Ronnie Norman.
In row 6, we got James Goodwin with Austin Wingard to his outside. Starting in 13th, it's Cosmin Ayanoshu in that 24 to his outside. Justin Malello in the 53. The Philip Scott in the 99 starts in 15th. Zachary Cox to his outside. In row number 9, Munatsi Major in that 82 lines up inside of Jake Niparis. And rounding out your top 20 to start the field here tonight, Joey Barrett and Peyton Tolik.
It's a stacked 38-car grid. Row 11 holds David Farrella and Stacy Hunter, with row number 12 holding Ryan Geertzma and Colton Lee Easterday. Row 13, Ryan Newman alongside Terrell Wheeler, with row 14 holding Nathan Kotilla and Jason Chu. Top 30 closed out by Branson and Gordon. 4 rows to go.
Jeremiah Vincent, Caleb Bass make up row 16. Row 17, Mark McFadden with Ernie Ludwig. In row number 18, we got Scott Leonard, Jeffrey Reed Jr., and rounding out your field here tonight, we're going to have Corey Hutchinson and Arabia Pasha Caden III.
So we are gearing up for racing action. It's not going to be a long pace slide this afternoon. 38 cars. It's one of the biggest fields we've had all season. What are your keys to surviving Darlington this afternoon?
And I think survive is pretty much the understatement here. You know, you want to make sure this car does not get too many scratches on it, doesn't add to the Darlington stripe. Try to keep yourself out of the wall and, more importantly, out of another driver's way. Because if you're getting into some heated battles, it can get real dicey real quick, especially here in Darlington, where it gets really too close for comfort at times.
So the field going to make their way into turn numbers 3 and 4. And as always, we're happy that you are joining us for more racing action here on Thursday night. Jordan Fisher will lead the field towards the green flag and in to the Sunoco Fuels restart zone. Time to get the party started. Second round of the back challenge is underway, and we'll see who can tame the Lady in Black. Cruising down into turn numbers 3 and 4, and it looks like it's going to be Jordan Fisher who will lead the way early on. Ethan Amberg, though, trying to see if he can't mount a charge. Wanting to get around Martin Plout early on and put himself into the number 4 spot. And TI Racing continue to run 1-2 up front.
Plout dropping down the 5th there. Everyone's getting single filed here early, which is the best course of action for the time being, and it looks like maybe a little movement further on back. Nonetheless, everyone's still keeping it forward here. Some other lap traffic looks like going to be dropping up the front here in front of Austin Thompson, staying down low, trying to keep out of the way of the leaders as they come by for lap 3.
So lap 3 quickly underway as Grant Applegate puts down the fastest lap of the race so far. But of course, plenty of action still yet to be had as several drivers dinging off the wall a little bit deeper in the field. 3 wide down to the turn 3 as the, looking like David Farrella, make that to 66. Ernie Ludwig did not make the start of this race. He's just slow on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to, I think, just survive the opening few laps of this one and not trying to get in anybody's way. But tell you what, this field got single filed out pretty quickly here.
Yeah, luckily everyone was able to get through 1 and 2 there. Ooh, hard into the outside wall. Garrett Austin, including also looked like Matt Montembeau, also got to that outside wall, gave the opportunity to Ron and Norman to look to the inside, going through 3 and 4 here. Some early Darlington stripes being added to that outside wall. Not to be expected there. Ooh, Martin Plout also getting loose out of 4 there. And we have some 2 wide action here, back towards the back half of the top 10 now. That 32 of Ronnie Norman on the inside, looking to the inside of the 28 of Matt Montembeau, who's on the outside riding the wall and able to take it for now. Hard into the wall, though.
Look out, one more, but down into the inside wall. Hard for James Goodwin. Kicked back enough, sides up the track, and caution is going to fly on just the 5th lap of the race. Everyone's going to miss him. But look at all that damage on the front of the Guinness number 11. That car smoked the inside fence.
Looks like that left front might be also off the ground. Yeah, it can get real loose here. That back end just jumps out from under if you get a little too anxious on the gas, especially coming out of turn 2. And the 11, unfortunately, gets involved in an early incident here. And, Nolan, we talked about it at the opening start here. It's daylight out here. We have a very toasty track. Some of these Darlington races happen at night and helps the tires a little bit here. But it just gets a little crazy at times as we're looking back here with James Goodwin taking a ride to the inside wall.
Yeah, it took a pretty nasty slide all the way down the racetrack, and as you watch, this car is going to go really hard into the inside wall right about there. Lifted the whole rear end of the car up off the ground, and he's going to slide right back up onto the racetrack. Tough impact. Now the question is, did he have help? He may have been tipped from behind by Austin Weingard.
Maybe a little bit of air got taken off the back end of the 11. Wow. Both wheels coming off the ground on the backside there of that Goodwin machine. Just has to bounce it back on track, and I think tried his darnest to keep it down on the apron there, which there is a lot of apron here in Darlington. But all that being said and done, a couple of green flag runs. You go see, it looks like some drivers bringing it down pit road while they can to repair some damages, including Tim Branson and some other drivers you can see on the right-hand side of your screen.
Well, most of the drivers that have come down pit road were all the way at the tail end of the field, so a lot of these guys think, well, we're at the back here anyway. Why not? Let's try something. Go for fuel. Some going for tires already for drivers like James Goodwin. Although I don't even think he's going for tires. I think he's more just getting that damage repaired. But, a lot of the drivers like Shu, Branson, Reed, ticket fuel only. And I like the call, right? Make it easy on yourself. You're at the back. You may as well come down, top up, and get on the different strategies, see if it's the winning one.
Oh, absolutely. And what we won't say there might be some green flag runs, but if they're only going fuel only, obviously the tire advantage isn't that great at this point. You only have 5 laps on these tires, and they barely broke off of just being cold tires. But all that being said and done, when we get into these green flag runs, if we do end up with green flag stops, undercutting a couple laps here at Darlington can prove to be very beneficial, especially just comfortability wise as well, because I know a lot of these drivers are probably going to be looking at this opening restart again here, trying to see if they can even keep it too wide, try to see if they can battle out for position, as everyone really up here at the front, the top 5, just shaking it up a little bit. Nonetheless, these two at the front of Fisher and Applegate just pretty much tagged along with each other. We're able to get to about a second ahead of the rest of the field, and I don't expect anything less from these two up front unless Austin Thompson or Ethan Amberg are gonna, throw their name in the ring here on this restart. So the field gearing up for the first restart of the day. Didn't take long for the first yellow flag on the afternoon to come out. Do you reckon we'll last any longer this time now that we've gotten a few laps of experience under our belts? I think we will go over. From the over-under, I'll say this is the over for this green flag run.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Jordan Fisher and Grant Applegate jumping on the loud pedal. Oh, and already we're going to crash it big on the front straightaway. Multiple cars spinning around to the tail end. The big one on the front. Several cars involved. Still stopping as the inside wall is Manazzi Major. And I believe that is Zachary Cox back there. It is. And a brutal way to go back to green. Not at all the run that we were hoping to have. Take another look back and we'll find out what happened.
I think I saw Austin Wingard get hard into that outside wall as well. And restarts here might be just a little, it doesn't feel like that should be something that should be studied for a lot of these drivers, but just because of Darlington and the wheel spin can just cause a lot of calamity. I think that is what is going to be shown here as we take a look back at the replay here for Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Selects Replay. And further back in this field, you're stacking up.
Ooh, started with a 51.
Yeah.
And he's going to shoot with the 82 way to the inside wall. That stacks up everyone, and they just come piling in. There's the 41 taking a hefty whack, and he's going to shove Terrell Wheeler in the inside wall. Manazzi Major actually almost got upside down in the midst of all of that.
By 82, almost went for a ride in Darlington. One of the, one of the tracks I wouldn't expect anyone to be going upside down. We did see a car get airborne there in the last restart, or the last caution. and another 2 tires. This time only the right sides, though, get popped off the ground.
From up top, as it's going to end up being that 82 having problems. There's Zachary Cox into the outside wall, and they just stack each other up from behind. A couple of pretty hard licks in the midst of all of that. Tell you what, a good chunk of the field actually did do a great job on trying to get through that unscathed, though. You got to give them some props for that.
Absolutely. You know, you don't, on these restarts, you're kind of just going with the car in front. You don't have that much vision on what's going on. Luckily, everyone was able to check up, keep themselves at least out of it for the most part. And I think the drivers you can see on pit road now, majority of them are the ones trying to fix the damage from that little, you know, well, for most of them, just maybe some bumpers broken into there. But all that being said and done, Munatsi Major is going to have to be the biggest loser, I think, from that whole ordeal, as we're going to stack it back up and see if we can try and get some green flag, you know, running here. I don't think I'm going to take an over-under this time, because I was quite literally the opposite direction. Like, I thought we went over, and they quite literally just proved me absolutely wrong. So I might not say anything this time and see what happens.
That replay and every replay brought to you by Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select. The Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select replay. A reminder that on the track or in the market, things can change in a split second. That's why you need a team that is on top of all the action. You need Ryan and Newman and Associates. So the field's getting set to be doubled up. We'll try this one again. You see drivers trying to scrub those tires, looking to get just any kind of heat into them to make sure that they don't get a repeat of what we just saw.
And everything, you know, you just want to have a little bit of consistency here. I think a lot of drivers, you need to get in the feeling, get in the zone, especially when you come to Darlington. So if these drivers can get into about a 10-lap rhythm, I think that's what they're going to be wishing for, to just at least have some sort of rhythm here to go throughout tonight.
Coming around 3 and 4.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Do we get a repeat, or are we able to get out of this one safe and sound? A little bit better this time around. A couple of drivers slipping and sliding at the tail end, but Jordan Fisher continues to be able to maintain that gap up front, and so far, TI Racing has remained in complete control of this race.
All the way through the field, one driver, the Cosman Ayanoshu in that 24, started in 13th. Even though we haven't had 13 laps of green flag laps, it has been a move. Well, that driver has been on the mission here. It seems like the 24 has rocketed up to 5th, now trying to get to 4th behind Austin Thompson. As you see the rest of the field pretty much getting single file, very similar to what we saw in the opening couple of laps here tonight. You can see Martin Plute also trying to see if he can defend against the 28 of Matt Montembeau there for that 9th place or 8th place position, as Montembeau's looking to the inside through 3 and 4. Don't think the 81's going to go away any sort of reluctancy, though, as he's going to get that momentum off of 4 and be able to keep that 8th place position.
Several drivers looking for a double file the deeper you go in this field. Corey Hutchinson looking like he may have had a hardware disconnect just a little while ago, so he's going to have a tough order. Drops all the way to the rear end of the field. Corey Hutchinson. Well, there he is. He pops back into existence, but significantly down the running order as a result. Critically up front here, Grant Applegate and Ethan Amber now run 2nd and 3rd. And Applegate not able to get as good of a launch of the teammate as they were on that initial run. Amber gets figured them out.
Still tagging along, still trucking right now in the early part of this green flag run. You know, nobody's really proven to be on rails of sorts here so far in this race. Obviously, the fresh air is benefiting Fisher right now in that 35, but Amberg is still there. He's still in position to at least be in the realm of just being considered for the lead right now, as Applegate and Fisher 2/10 apart, real connected, it seems like, since the drop of the green flag. And really just running away with it, as the 14's just trucking along. Austin Thompson still trying to defend against Cosman Ayanoshu and pretty much everyone else in the field as it stands. And, you know, one thing to note for a lot of these drivers, you got to get into the rhythm, because obviously turns 1 and 2 is not like 3 and 4, the entry point, and diamonding the corners will be the focal point, I think, for a lot of these drivers to figure out, you know, how do I get into a fast, consistent rhythm at this driver's track that is Darlington. And, Nolan, I can see a lot of these drivers just taking it easy, not necessarily running the fastest of laps, trying to save a little bit of tire, while also just trying to keep themselves on the track without, ending up like some of these other drivers we've seen earlier.
A lot of single file. Drivers are just tiptoeing their way around this field. Still early in this race as well. Only lap 18 of 135 as we continue to battle this one out. Applegate and Fisher looking a bit tighter. Does Jordan Fisher potentially come under fire from Applegate behind? Not quite. They're going to continue to keep things together. Oh, hell no. Look at this. 19 car slowing in turn 2. Scott Leonard forced to let Jeremiah Vincent by.
That 19 is going to have to follow back into line here. Looking fresh nonetheless, but still staying in front of Philip Scott in the 99 there. Trying to see what, potentially happened to the 19. Nonetheless, looks a little slow coming out of the corner here as Philip Scott is able to take advantage, looking to that inside and able to slide right up in front of the 19 and use the apron a little bit to his advantage. That 19 seems like it's been hurting a little bit now these past couple of laps.
So the battle is going to continue on. You saw a bit of a look. There's Philip Scott trying to take that spot away from Jeremiah Vincent into turn 1. He's going to get that job done. He's going to take out Nate Cotilla. Cotilla goes spinning in turn 2. Can he hold it? Catch it? Catch it? Good save, but the caution comes out because we got another mess with Garrett Austin and Ronnie Norman in turn 3.
That was a great save by the 5 nonetheless. And it is hard to catch the car here, especially on that apron here in Darlington. So, Cotilla is very lucky to have that car in one piece for the time being. Great job by that 5. But further up, we'll have to see what happened between the 34 and Ronnie Norman here.
And look at this one again. That was the initial contact there. But you are looking for Ronnie Norman. There he is, coming down into turn numbers 3 and 4. And he kind of just looked like he sent it on Garrett Austin. Sending them up and into the outside wall. Quite a bit of damage for the 34 there. Definitely got the worst out of that.
Yeah, I think the 32 definitely was sending it maybe a little too deep there because he also got into the wall as a result of all of that as we watch Nate Cotilla drive that thing again coming out of 3 and 4. A great drive by the 5, but a hard lick for those two in the 34 and the 32. And they're down pit road as you see as well, fixing the damage, and a couple other drivers maybe fixing some damages as well.
On board with Norman. Just ran him over. No ifs or buts about it. Back to live pictures. And what this yellow flag is going to do, this is going to allow for the likes of Ernie Ludwig, Jawbone Motorsports driver, rookie this season, to be the recipient of the Game Glass Lucky Dog for the first time tonight. This Lucky Dog brought to you by Game Glass. Game Glass turns your phone or tablet into a custom control panel for your favorite sim game. Star Citizen, DCS, Flight Sim, or iRacing, you name it. No more forgetting key buys. Just tap and fly. Try it for free at GamesGlass.gg. Or use Hunter71 for 10% off on a subscription today. So Ludwig, first recipient of that award all night. No doubt not going to be the last the way things are going here.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first race this season we've seen that award given out here. In the first half of the race, a lot of the time we just don't end up with somebody getting the free pass. So all that being said and done, yeah, I totally agree, Nolan, that these drivers that are currently on pit road trying to get some of those critical damages repaired, ending up a lap down, and I don't foresee this going green the rest of the way. Nonetheless, I think we'll get some solid green flag running here, unless they prove me immediately wrong again on the restart here. So nonetheless, Grant Applegate, Jordan Fisher, pretty much these drivers up in the top 3 rows here. Going back to Jason Garcias now in the 6th place position, 3rd car on that outside line with Cosman Ionoshu And, you know, throughout the field, pretty much after that, it has been a little bit of a war for some of these drivers to just try and keep themselves intact. And now I think we're just going to see if everyone tries to keep it calm or try to keep up the ante, try to keep moving up some positions on these restarts.
So the battle going to continue on as we fight our way to the restart zone, and this race continues to be a game of attrition this afternoon. Green flag back in the air as we try to get a move on down into turn 1. Yet again, Jordan Fisher from the top, able to easily jump these guys for the lead of the race. Side by side between Matt Montembeau and Cosman Inoshu. Inoshu down to the inside, and he's able to get the run going.
Garcias was able to get in front of Amberg on that opening restart as well. Everyone getting single file real quickly yet again, but all that being said and done, it seems like at the front, Jordan Fisher and Applegate have really just done a gentleman's agreement, and, you know, whenever that 35 is able to just get that huge bump or get that going into turn 1, the 57 files right in line, and those two just connect and go, it seems like. Looking back here, the Stacy Hunter in the 71 trying to battle it out here with the 99 of Philip Scott for the 14th place position coming down the back, or the front stretch here going into turn 1. The 99 is going to send it a little deep into the inside, but not be alongside the 71 in that game glass machine. Nonetheless, 71 able to defend for now, as they're going to be able to keep it going here now going into turn.
A lot of damage though on the right front of that car, clearly upsetting the handling on that thing. You see how unstable it is in the corners here, and that is allowing Philip Scott to close right to the back end. Scott just hasn't been able to find a way around realistically. Austin Thompson, I think, slapped the wall coming off of turn 2 as he started to drop down the field, looking to go around the outside of Amber, wanting to battle back. But he can't get the nose in there. He would have absolutely hooked the 14 to the wall had he tried to commit to that.
That opened the door for Cosman Inoshu as well, but yeah, that 23 right now dropping like a rock. Still close quarters right now between the 24 and 23 coming through 1 and 2. Inoshu giving as much room as he can, still tight coming out of 2. That 23 gets right up against the wall. Matt Montembeau, though, is trying to look behind Cosman Inoshu here, potentially a little elbows out here in lap 28.
You see Montembeau tried to do the same, but Thompson fought this one around the outside. And he's going to continue to try to fight this one out and keep at it from behind. Nicholas Coate running some new colors with the McConey setup shop now on the car. Stuck into the lineup is Montembeau on the inside. Checked Coate into Tulak. And that nearly resulted in quite a hefty incident. Martin Plou also into the fray.
Riding on board here with the 81 into the wall. Montembeau slow coming as well. Not gonna be too crazy though, as Peyton Tulloch is able to look to the inside. Thought he had the run going down the front stretch, but he's gonna be able to slide right in front of the 28 going into 1, and Plute also joins in the battle here. It looks like that 28 is just so upset getting into the wall pretty much every turn and not able to get out of it. Oh, hard out of 2.
Yeah, you can see that one coming. He was just trying to put the throttle into there, but he was never gonna make the exit of that corner without lifting. From behind, you also see Colton Lee Easterday in a battle with Justin Melilo. Melilo also running new colors with the FTF.GG machine. Tell you what, I actually quite like the look of this car, and I want to actually go up top and get a look down on this one from above. Watch that 53. I love the look of this. He's kind of got like the old Verizon look going for him here.
Oh, I definitely see that. That is,
yeah,
that's a good. I really like that.
The red F also reminiscent of the old Formula One logo until about 2018. Huge fan of that car.
Beautiful paint scheme, especially to break out here in Darlington. And I think a lot of drivers like to break out the new schemes, or at least a variety at Darlington, and that is a great scheme nonetheless, as we see the 51 of Zachary Cox slow on the inside apron here, definitely damaged up from that earlier incident, and then some. Oh, and then a caution as well, I believe.
And that's for Colton Lee Easterday. We will get to that in just a moment. For now, that is the 51 losing the back end. Now, there was no caution for this. However, there was for Colton Lee Easterday, who went around. This will be coming around through turn numbers 3 and 4. Philip Scott on the inside, just going to track up. And right there, you see him get aero tight and take out the left rear. And around goes the 95.
See Hunter able to get around it cleanly enough. It looked like 95 rather pretty much unscathed. Yeah.
Good job.
95 able to lock it down. No one else included in that one.
That was incredible. Could have been a real nasty ride, but we are able to hold on just a little bit longer. Fourth yellow flag of the night. We are racking them up early on here this afternoon. We're going to take ourselves a quick step back. When we return, race and action continues on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Race in action about to kick off once again here at the Darlington Raceway. Coming to the end of what is our fourth or fifth yellow flag of the night. And we heard that tire deg was going to be a really key point, and that has continued to be the case all throughout this afternoon. Most of the field came down for fresh tires and fuel under that yellow flag. Top 11 have stayed out, 6 of which have not come down the road at all this race. The drivers that have not come down include Gracias, Inoshu, Plut in the top 3, Hunter from 6th, Hutchinson in 8th, and then Giertzma and Leonard 10th and 11th.
Very gutsy call, especially here at Darlington. And, you know, the couple of those drivers, I mean, really, they've all been throughout the field, the ones that stayed out. But Jason Garcias, Inoshu, both of them were comfortably in the top 6 on that last restart and throughout that last green flag run. Kind of surprised they stayed out when the rest of the field came in to get some fresh tires. It will be an interesting one to get on the alternative strategy and see exactly if it pans out here for the final 100 laps as we just get into now lap 36 this time across the strike.
Green flag coming out this time by as the iRacing pace car makes its dive into pit road. Jason Garcias will make his way to the front. And once again, green flag is going to be out for the Highline Diecast Collectible Speed Cup Series. One car posting the inside. Oh, Zachary Cox slid off the racetrack. Second time he's made that mistake. He's into the outside wall, but no caution. We keep it green into turn 1.
And that 51 is beaten and battered, but he's going to try to keep on going. As some fresh faces making it up here in the top 10 on older tires, we'll have to see what those drivers with the fresh tires are going to be able to do. Up Jordan Fisher currently sitting in 12th, but for now, that one of Jason Garcia is going to ride off into the sunset with some more calamity with Jason Shu down on the apron.
Shu looking like he may be coming to pit row, might have a problem that he's got to take care of. Vertilago, by the way, with the black flag for a restart violation that he has to come down and serve. 3 wide into turn 1. Scott Leonard caught in the middle, and Nicholas Coe just sent it on the inside to pick up the spot.
Trying to get what he can back. Ooh, it looks like that's the 35 of Jordan Fisher looking to the inside of Ryan Giertzma here going into 3. And the 23 of Austin Thompson's going to follow suit as well in those fresh tires. Try to see if they can keep picking off these drivers one by one here on the older tires. It will be a little easier since they're on the older tires, but still passing nonetheless here at Darlington is going to be a tall task here. It's a 35 of Jordan Fisher able to get by, and now we have a little breathing room up to Ryan Newman. Now Austin Thompson follows suit. Peyton Tulik gets a conga line past the 21 Tide Machine going out of turn 2. Ethan Amberg also joining, and everyone else.
Boy, it is a madhouse as we fire back into turn numbers 3 and 4. Grant Applegate trying to look to the outside. You got to remember, Applegate and Fisher were dominating this race earlier on before they came down pit road, running 1-2 for much of this race. They, of all people, have the most to invest in terms of wanting to drive back through the field and get into the front early on. The problem is they can't work as a team because they've got several cars between them both.
Tale of two different restarts here. As you see now, Jordan Fisher battling for 8th, while Grant Applegate has to settle with now 16th. It looks like a little bit of calamity maybe back there as well, but nonetheless at 32 able to drive on by that 15 of Ryan Newman and settle into the 8th position. Still now 4 seconds behind Jason Garcia and the rest of the leaders there. You can see some breathing room nonetheless. But looking back here, Austin Thompson's going to try to squeeze on by on the outside, gets in the wall, but unable to get next to the 15 here. That's going to ruin the run and open the door for Peyton Tulloch to look to the inside, potentially get a really great run here into 3, get on by the 23, hard into the outside wall. Looked like Ryan Newman got into it a little bit there. Nothing critical though. The 15 keeps up the momentum, and now Austin Thompson's going to have to settle for 11th and potentially under attack from Ethan Amberg.
Ethan Amberg very much under pressure here as he tries to keep that momentum rolling forward. And you can see Austin Thompson struggle. Oh, there goes Ryan Newman way down to the inside. And he's going to fade back outside of the top 10. A devastating mistake out of turn 4 puts Ryan Newman down and out of the fight for the top 10 for the time being.
Newman slipping back now to 16th position, all the way back past this group of fresh tires. And all that being said and done, everyone maybe going to be able to settle it out now from about 7th on back as we look at the group from 6th upwards, with Philip Scott being the last car there. They've been cruising pretty much for the time being since the drop of the green flag here. Now the 26 of Jake Niparis currently sitting in that 5th place position. Hasn't been up here yet today, but still keeping it up in front of that 99 who has been charging up through the field when needed. And all that being said and done, you know, these fresh tires, everyone potentially going to be able to figure it out. Here's Nicholas Coaten, a 48, looking to the inside of that was 97 of Joey Barrett. Grant Applegate also going to try and open the door there out of 2.
Jordan Fisher getting elbows out on the inside of the racetrack. Still able to keep these drivers at bay for the time being, but boy, what a ride we're having. Austin Thompson now looking for the outside line. This has got to be one of the most aggressive runs we have seen all race long. We're not even a third of the way through yet.
No love lost here early in the race. They don't care. It seems like nobody cares right now on these fresh tires, no matter the circumstance. They want to get to the front. And now Stacey Hunter is going to have to try and hold all of these. Oh, hard. Oh, I thought Ryan Newman was going into the inside wall. They're able to save it coming out too. Back up onto the racetrack, though, able to save it.
Good avoidance for him. Meanwhile, Austin Thompson slow inside of the racetrack. He is going to tumble down the order here. And so yet again, Austin Thompson try as he may, just not able to get the run that he needs to fight his way up to the point. Further in the field, David Farella and Arabia Caton exchanging positions. That was for 25th on the racetrack. So he's still got fights everywhere you look. Oh, and around Mike goes Stacey Hunter, got tipped by the number hard into the wall, and there they go. Coates involved. Big shot with Joey Barrett. Look out as the Coates slides down the racetrack, and looks like, oh, look out, guys. Careful now. I think we might be able to get through that one okay, but man, that got dicey.
Tulloch and Hunter were able to keep it locked down and be predictable at least, but yeah, everyone was kind of cruising through that wreck, at least the last piece of it. We'll take a look back here at the replay provided by Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select. And all that being said and done, we watched it live. Nicholas Coate also got tagged there by Grant Applegate too, going into 3.
It was just a whole host of mess there. And yeah, it was Ethan Amber that ran Hunter up the track and puts the game glass 71 hard into the outside wall. Tula gets involved as well, and that is a lick for the bow ties Camaro of Joey Barrett, as Coates going to spin up the racetrack. One more look, and this time we'll look at it at speed.
Group of hungry drivers here, and just pretty much everyone involved got a little bit of damage. Grant Applegate also touched a little bit there, but nonetheless, hard hits for a couple drivers here bringing down pit road. You can see Joey Barrett, Stacey Hunter having to bring it down. Garrett Austin barely able to get through there, able to slow it down enough.
A little bit nervy there, isn't it? So the field is coming down pit road. Very split decision has been the case all day in regards to pit strategy.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Especially, we'll see how that pans out here. You know, Jake Nippris still being on the track, also something to note. But nonetheless, it looks like everyone bringing down pit road that originally took that alternative strategy, including Jason Garcias leading everyone down. And also Grant Applegate, you can see, also had to bring it down, I believe, maybe get some damages along with just getting maybe, no tires. You can see that 51 staying on the ground. But everyone else coming out of pit road now, as it looks like Ian No Shoe is going to be able to get past the one, have a better stop here, be able to lead the rest of this group out.
A little bit more aggressive into the stall. That gives Ian No Shoe full advantage coming out of pit road. So as racing action is set to kick off here this afternoon, we are once again looking to have ourselves a stellar outing here this afternoon as Ernie Ludwig, yet another recipient of the Game Glass Lucky Dog this afternoon. I'm sure not complaining. This one, I believe, gets him back on the lead lap.
That's what you want to hear. Obviously, and with being at Darlington, this isn't a mile and a half, so it might seem easy for these drivers at the back to kind of just, try to take it easy. But at the same time, you got to keep up the ante because it might become a dicey situation if you go a little too easy. As it looked like Ludwig faked out a little bit there going down pit road. Going to give Tim Branson, though. He's going to come down pit road with Jeremiah Vincent. And nonetheless, that 66 going to try and regain going up the field here now as he breaks his way into the top 20 for this restart.
Plenty of action still yet to be had, and at this point, we're in a bit of a who knows type of situation. And to be honest, you never really do quite know how this one's going to pan out. It's been interesting, would be, I think, the polite way of putting how this race has gone so far. No shortage of drivers having problems, and you have to imagine that some guys might be getting a little bit more frustrated with the plethora of cautions that we've had so far today. Once again, pace cars into pit road. Jake Nippris for the first time on the outside, looking to lead them to the green, but Jordan Fisher, former race leader earlier today and former pole sitter, on his inside. Green flag is in the air, and we'll see if Fisher can have an answer for Nippris for that lead.
And Fisher lost his teammate. He lost him somewhere further back on in that last restart and had to bring him down pit road. Grant Applegate, you can see, is battling now through 14th. But nonetheless, the battle for the lead is on. Nippris on the outside, Jordan Fisher on the inside. That 35 has some fresh tires and willing to go somewhere now. That 35 looking to the inside, going through 3 and 4, but Nippris is not shying away. Gets into the wall a little bit, though. Going to ruin the momentum and give the 35 that clear advantage going through the front stretch here. Now able to take the lead going through 1.
So race lead back in the hands of TI Racing this afternoon. As Colton Lee Easterday looking to the inside of Nate Cotilla. Cotilla's too wide. He's going to hit the wall. Justin Mello hot on their heels. That's going to stack up Martin Flute and allow for Jason Garcias to go down the inside. And Easterday going to get to the number 5. And for the second time, Cotilla's been tipped. And yet again, he pulls up a great save.
That 5 is determined to not get into any sort of wall. It seems like that 5 has done 2 great saves here so far today. Able to rebound, still in 16th on worn tire worn tires here, comparative to those drivers that were getting around him.
And again, I want to bring to attention, those 2 great saves he's had tonight. Doesn't run in the traditional wheel. Remember, he has he's got himself a cerebral palsy. Races via joystick, so that makes those saves all the more impressive as he pulls it back underneath him. Grant Applegate and Martin Flute side by side into turn number 1.
Battle for 12th is on, and it is over real quickly. Martin Flute able to pull ahead going through turn 1 now. You can see that 81 has a little bit of damage to that front end of the Twisted Steel machine. Gets hard into the wall a little bit there coming out of 2. Going to give Applegate a little bit of advantage now into 3. Going to get the momentum, be able to slide up in front of the 81 real easily. The 81 might try to switch it back, looking to the inside now, coming out of 4. He's going to have the momentum as it looked like that 57 of Applegate got into the wall coming out of 4, ruined his run, and we are back to where we started.
Yeah, threw it in too deep, put the wall in 4, and that let Martin Plute get all the momentum he needed to charge back to the inside, take the spot away. Easterday still fighting it out with the number 1 down on his inside as well, and that is just dragging Plute. Applegate and Philip Scott into the mix. Ronnie Norman thought for a moment he had a problem, but it looked like that was just a temporary connection flicker as he is able to get himself back onto the racetrack. Yet again, Applegate's hard into the fence, and this time with a bit more damage on the right front.
57 that seemed to be locked onto the back bumper of Fisher now. Stuck in 14th with a lot of damage, and it might just get worse as time goes on here, depending on how long this green flag runs. It's going to be interesting to see nonetheless.
Just no end in sight to this battle for the last spot inside the top 10 as Garcia's to the inside, and this time secures the run from Colton Lee Easterday. Heading down the front straightaway, and the number 1 car looking strong as he tries to pull away with the top 10 run.
Looking back up here for the battle for 6. You remember James Goodwin was involved in an early caution. That 11 was hard into the inside wall, and it looks like that 11 has gotten a lot of the damages repaired, and now sitting up in 6, doing a great job trying to battle off last season's champion and Cosman Ayanoshu, who's going to slide up in front. A little bit of a hard hit into the wall for the 11 is going to ruin his momentum, and now the 24 is going to keep on going and see if he's going to be able to track down the 23 of Austin Thompson, another second up the road.
Battle still rages on as Martin Plute up the track. Not going to matter. Caution's out again, and Ernie Ludwig, one of the Jawbone Motorsports drivers, going for a wild spin over in turn 2.
Just when he got on the lead lap, that Ford Mustang, unfortunately, going to be ending up here with the yellow flag. Nonetheless, taking a look back here at the replay, you can see that 48 of Nicholas Coate on the inside.
It's kind of hard to tell who came up and who came down, but definite contact. They both ended up in the wall, and then Coates obviously chasing the car, and I'm not sure if Ludwig just drove into him or not. We'll need to get another look at that one because I feel like there's again, it's hard to really tell what fully went down, especially when you slow it down to half speed like this. So we'll get a better look at this one from up top and from a couple seconds prior, and this will, I think, tell a better story.
Looked like Ludwig was already off speed there. Maybe had an incident prior to that. Nonetheless,
the kind of just came in together. I think 2 lines just coming into the same place, and then I think what happened there is that first hit unsettled Ludwig, and that caused the car to shoot back up the racetrack into him. I don't think there was any malicious intent behind that.
No, I don't think at all. It looked like just battling for real estate and just trying to save the car. And unfortunately for the 66, gonna have to bring it down pit road, potentially lose a lap on that whole ordeal, depending on how much damage. And a couple other friends joining in on pit road. You can see Nicholas Coate, Matt Montembeau, Munati Major bringing down again to try to repair some damages. And all being said and done, just more alternative strategies, if you want to keep calling it that. It just seems like there's always a group of about 10 cars that come down pit road with each caution.
I don't think we even have a strategy at this point. I think we're just kind of in this for the long haul at this point in time. It has been a journey here this afternoon, and I don't think anybody is too terribly surprised by that, in all honesty, with how this one has gone down. It has been something. It's felt like a true marathon here this afternoon, and that is not the only marathon that drivers might be feeling on Green Flag TV, because here, critically, this afternoon, there is yet more racing action yet to be had on Green Flag TV, because the FTR Almeida Series is almost back for more racing action on the 21st of March. The 6 hours of Spa will kick off the FTR events Almeida Racing Academy Endurance Series once again. The critical thing here, you still have time to get you and your team signed up. Scan the QR code currently on your screen, and you can join these guys on Saturday afternoon for GT3 and GT4 racing for 6 hours through the Ardennes Forests live on Green Flag TV. Happy to partner once again with FTR for their 7th season of racing action. And we are looking forward to all of the action that's going to be. It's a great schedule. Spa, Magello, Phillip Island, Road America, Bahrain, Interlagos. Plenty of races that we can be very, very excited about. We got a race kicking off here as we are just about to return back to Green Flag Racing this afternoon here, Brad.
Yeah, and that schedule offers up a lot of different parts of the world, a lot of great circuits to be held there for the FTR. But all that being said and done, we're going to have another restart here, but it's Jordan Fisher, Jake Nipperis taking us to the green flag here in Darlington, and we are green yet again here in Darlington.
Still not halfway home through racing action this afternoon, but we're not too far away from it as Austin Thompson and Jason Gracias looking a bit dicey, coming off of turn 2 to the back straightaway. Varela chases Blute down the track, but looking like we're able to get through turns 1 and 2 clean.
You know, with a lot of solid green flag laps, you know, it takes a little under 30 seconds here at Darlington to complete a lap on fresh tires for that reason alone. But all that being said and done, you know, these laps can go real quick if these drivers try to figure out, you know, just get into the rhythm and try to see what happens. But that also means for a lot of these drivers on the older tires, it would be interesting to see how these strategies maybe mix it up here in the back half. All that being said and done, though, the podium positions are trying to maybe shake it up here. Jake Nipperis to the outside in that 26. Ethan Amberg in the 14 on the inside with Cosmin Ionoshu right behind them as well. They're still side by side coming out of 4, but Ethan Amberg is going to have a great run coming out of 4, able to take that spot away. And now Ionoshu looking up on the back bumper of that 26 of Nipperis as Jordan Fisher sets another fast lap, the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to extend that lead a lot further, and it looks like the 26 is going to have a bad run, getting a little loose out of 2. They're going to open the door to Ionoshu, who's going to take that 3rd spot away easily. So now we got a top 3 of drivers that seem to have success here at Darlington in recent years, but still just seeing if anyone can catch that 35 of Jordan Fisher, because when he gets in that fresh air, he seems to be unstoppable, as no one has really been able to gain any sort of time, it seems like, when these green flag runs are ticking down.
Single file all the way up front. The double file is taking place deeper in the field as per the norm. Cotilla under 5 for Ryan Geertzma, one of the Java Motorsports contenders. Came down pit road, 16 laps to go. Robin Doors against David Farella nearly puts the Napa Auto Parts Camaro into the outside wall. Geertzma getting elbows out as he fires down the front straightaway.
Keeping it going. We are still... You know, even though, you know, you don't have much real estate to work with here, it looks like also Colton Easterday might have got the outside wall there right in front of them. Philip Scott's going to also jump ahead of him to get into the 10th spot position. As we're looking further back here, now Peyton Tulloch, a lot of damaged race cars further on back here. It looks like Mark McFadden falling out of the top 20 now to Matt Montembeau. And now Peyton Tulloch and company. It is a Congo line and a hot ticket right now to get past that 22 coming out of 4 here. He looks like he's going to be dropping down the timing table real quickly.
Most drivers here came down pit road under this last caution, so they're on 30 lap fresh tires, and not too much of a surprise there. That's no damage from McFadden. That's just outright pacing. Was code sideways behind. Able to pull it underneath them. Good effort for him. And Jake Nipperis for the Subatomic Motorsports crew started the drop back at in the number 26. He may have caught the outside wall off 4.
Grant Applegate, we talked about him having some troubles when he was in the mid-pack. Now looking to maybe get to 6th place around Jake Nipperis now. That 57 looking to the inside, trying to join his teammate up at the front and try to maybe lock on again to that 35. But he's got a couple cars to get by, including this 26 who's on the outside. Has the run, going to keep it, but gets into the wall. That's going to ruin the run and give the 57 that 6th place position. Austin Thompson's going to follow suit, slide right up in front of the 26 now. In this top 8, going to have to keep on going with Nipperis slowly sliding down the table due to those older tires, and everyone else trying to see if they can catch up to this top 3.
Single file all throughout. Versus some battles deeper in the pack. There's Easterday round the outside of Martin Plute. Easterday's been caught in his fair share of troubles tonight and is looking to just finish the rest of this race out clean. We are finally, by the way, past the halfway mark in racing action this afternoon. It has been a doozy of a ride for the second race. And, you know, we kind of talked about this going into the bracket challenge, right, about just how unbelievably tricky. Oh, we got more problems. Sorry, I'll get back to that in a moment. David Farella spinning to the inside.
The 91 bringing it down, well, the backside of pit road here. That Napa machine going to have to take it through the apron here. And looks like also maybe Joey Barrett might have some black flag action as well as we take a look back at the replay.
Car just pulled off the racetrack. I don't know what the problem was. I thought he may have gotten loose or spun or something, but no, he was fine.
Looking back now, this is Nate Cotillo right in front of Ryan Newman, that 5, who's trying to chase down the one of Jason Garcia's in the in-season bracket challenge. But right now, that's going to be a tall order. He's still got a little bit of a gap in front, but a hungry set of drivers behind, including Ryan Newman, who's taking a look to the inside 4 now, but going to be able to back off. He's backing up the corners a little bit there as Cotillo sends it a little deeper, able to get a good gap back to the 15, and now Brian Giertzma in the 04 going to try and size it up. Gets loose out of 2, though. Going to open the door potentially to Scott Leonard.
They're trying to wreck, aren't they? Corey Hutchinson slow on the inside. Just letting by drivers through up top of him. Recognize he's a little bit slower on older tires. Doesn't want to impede these drivers too much. It really does feel like everyone's just kind of tiptoeing over each other at this point here. No one wants to be that guy, and Giertzma takes out Scott Leonard. Into the outside wall. Giertzma gonna spin. Keeps it off the inside wall, but the yellow flag is out again.
We were talking about that guy, and now we saw the 04 and 19 jumping into each other, trying to see who wants that piece of real estate, unfortunately coming together live on camera yet again. And, you know, this was a battle further on back for about 16th, trying to see who can get that better positioning going into 1. And it looks like
Giertzma just got spooked, it looked like. When the 19 came down the racetrack, he lost track of where his car was.
Yeah, and also Montembeau just sliding on by real quick.
Garrett
Austin again.
Oh! Corey Hutchinson drills the right rear. Tim Branson escapes down low.
Tim Branson currently now with his 7th start here in Darlington, which is now leading all drivers for the most starts here in Darlington in Speeds Cup Series, is at least happy to get through that one, along with a lot of other drivers. It's very hard with the amount of apron, to see any sort of big pile up, because even on that restart caution we saw, not too many drivers got involved. And obviously, I think with all these cautions, there's a lot of battled and a lot of damaged race cars, but also just everyone's trying to survive at this point. Like you said earlier, Nolan, it is a marathon, and it seems like even though we have Bristol to end this in-season bracket challenge, it feels like a lot of the battling, in some sort of Coliseum or something like that is happening here in Darlington for 4 rounds before that.
Well, the yellow flag is out once again. We are into the back half of this race, and we're going to take a step back. When we return, racing action continues on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where racing action is getting set to kick off in earnest here this afternoon, and it has been a ride. We've put it mildly, but hey, we're geared up to do it all over again. We're into the back half, and it will be 60 laps to go at the line. Once again, my name is Will Remble alongside Brad Daniels, bring you all the action from Darlington in the the second race in the Highline Diecast Collectibles Bracket Challenge.
That said and done, Jordan Fisher, Ethan Amber going to lead the field to the green yet again. And we are green in Darlington. Amber gets a little shaky there. Nyanoshu dodges up to the high side.
Jumping up to the outside wall for several contenders as everyone wants that outside lane coming into turn number 1. Grant Applegate bouncing off the wall a few times in turn 2. For the most part, looking like we're all able to escape the carnage unscathed. And we have no issues coming down the backstretch into turn 3.
Thinking about trying to get that 4th place away from Ethan Amberg, but gonna think better of it. Try to maybe get some laps going here. Nonetheless, everyone's single file back to the battle for 12th between James Goodwin and Tim Branson. And, you know, it just feels like a lot of these drivers, no matter if they got into an earlier incident, if they know Darlington and Darlington has treated them well, it seems like they at least can get back to the front of this field, just like Grant Applegate, I think, is a prime suspect. And, you know, other than that, a lot of these drivers keeping it consistent nonetheless. Looking back to Nate Cotilla battling out with Terrell Wheeler.
Everyone scrambling as we make our way down the stretch and into turn number 1. Nate Cotilla continuing to run this one out strong. He's had a couple of very close calls tonight. That number 5 hasn't. He's going to catch the wall there and falling him down. Going to be Arabia Caton. I think Caton just kept it off the inside fence.
I don't know if the 30 was just following the 5 line and potentially just got way too far into the corner here. We'll take a look back here at the replay at this huge hit. Ooh.
And look at how close he comes to that inside wall. Unbelievable save from the number 30. That could have been a race ender easily.
Absolutely. And he didn't lock up the brakes or anything, kept the foot in it and got out of that inside wall. And we keep green. That is the important thing. We keep on going here for the rest of the field. Is now Grant Applegate potentially under attack from the one of Jason Garcia's. Looking to maybe get his way into the round of 8. He's got to stay in front of Nate Cotilla. But all that being said and done, now Jason Shu a little further on back here with Corey Hutchinson currently sitting in the 18th place position.
Ronnie Norman trying to make something happen as the battles are raging on. Ethan Amber, Justin Melilo fighting it out for 3rd. Grant Applegate down on the inside looking for 4th. Jason Garcia's tucked up into the wings as well. As everyone funnels it down the back chute. You still got Austin Thompson trying to claw his way back to the field. He's looked to the inside of Philip Scott. Scott is still running that number 99 car for ObstacleFactory.com all the way up to the outside, and no joy. Thompson able to take the spot away, and Nipris will follow suit.
Trying sliding right up in front of that 99. It looks like now looking further on back here. It looks like Ryan Newman might have dropped down the timing table a little bit here, following back now behind Nicholas Coate in the 48. Doesn't look like too much damage though for the 15. Nonetheless, able to keep it going here. Add to the Darlington stripe. A little more there in 3 and 4.
The battle still rages on for 4th through 6th as they will look to fight this one out. As Grant Applegate almost sent Melilo there into turn 3. You saw him get right on the back bumper and nearly put him around.
And that was almost terrible. That would have been absolutely horrible, as in the top, best battle going on for 4th place. A lot of drivers would have been sending it into these drivers if they went around. Nonetheless, Melilo, Applegate keeping off each other for now. Applegate backing off into the wall, though. They're getting that right side corner panel into the wall, going to send him a little bit into the wall. All that being said and done, now Melilo and Applegate getting back to rhythm with Jason Garcia's right behind now. As Cold Easterday, James Goodwin getting into it into 3 and 4 here. Easterday got into the wall, and then again with the help of the 11. The 11's going to take the position for now, but Easterday definitely not happy about that one coming across this stripe now.
Jason Shu looking to the inside on Matt Montembeau and more as everyone looks to scramble. There goes Grant Applegate. This time, a little bit of a cleaner overtake attempt on Justin Mello. Mello, though, going to try to get that crossover, looking for the inside line, down the front straightaway. Does Garcias want to have a look? He's not going to go for it, though.
I think Melolo's breaking point might be a little further back than what Applegate has been doing. It looks like Applegate has been able to send it into the corner a little further than the 53 and help them get around Melolo. And now Applegate get into a healthy gap now, about 4/10 of a second in front of the 53 as Garcias trying to see if he can do something, take a little air maybe off the back spoiler of the 53. Applegate slinging it down to the apron there, getting a little loose coming out of 4. They're able to keep the momentum, keep on going, trying to track down now that podium of Ethan Amberg.
And Garcias trying to dive to the bottom side on Justin Melolo. Into turn 1, slides up from the inside, and he's able to get this one secured as Mello continues to track up and out, dropping back to the 6th place spot outside of the top 5. Still have Cotilla and Stacey Hunter fighting this one through. Boy, Stacey Hunter has been put in the ringer today as well. Hunter, of course, at this point, no longer on the lead lap and just trying to see if he can come out of this one and score some points. The drivers knocked us out of the race, now looking to be 11 laps down.
Shoot, it looks like the 71 at least. The game glass car does look pretty decent still, nonetheless. I mean, being 11 laps down, that 71 still keeping on track, maybe get some points out of Darlington nonetheless. And that's part of the battle here at Darlington. You know, you get into these early cautions, and it sets you back so far. You just can't do anything about it. And hopefully Stacey Hunter here tries to get that 71 some good points nonetheless. As all these drivers really filing it out now, keeping it really, consistent here. No one really going side by side. No one getting aggressive here with now 45 to go that time by. Maybe, some drivers might start thinking of upping the ante a little bit, obviously with a lot of the cautions here today. Trying to not be that guy, as we said before, but it just, might be the time for the 23 of Austin Thompson to try and see if he can look to the inside of Justin Mello. Now going through 3 and 4, able to get that initially job done. I thought he was going to slide in front of the 53, but now able to slide up out of 4. That 23 is clear and able to drive on into the sunset here. And, we did talk about tires, and as these laps click on, these drivers are going to become more and more uncomfortable with the car under them, and I think 53 of Justin Mello might be one of them.
Oh, look out! Not done yet. Scott Leonard up into the outside wall. Leonard went for the Hail Mary, and Darlington's going to punish him for it. Sent him spinning around out of turn 4. Good catch for the Mac 19 Mustang, but boy, getting a little bit dicey there.
And right in front of the leaders, too, you saw Cosmonai No Shoe going right by Scott Leonard as well, but able to save it. As we are looking back here for the battle for 15th, this is Nicholas Coate, Matt Montembeau, the 28-48, trying to see who wants that 15th position. It's going to be Matt Montembeau real easily going into 1 here. He's able to send it right up in front of that 48 of Nicholas Coate and keep on going as this battle up here now for the 7th place position. Nippers has caught up to Melolo. That 53 is hurting right now, but the 26 unable to get the job done right as of now, coming across the stripe. Now potentially going to have to try and set up this move, potentially going into 3 and 4 if he's not thinking about it. While Ryan Geertsma picks up a penalty, it looks like coming down pit road, or might be serving a black flag actually coming down pit road.
No, picked it up on the way in, looking like he got caught for speed on entry. It's up right there for Geertsma. And to the inside of Justin Mello goes Jake Niparis. And yet again, we see Subatomic Motorsports clawing their way back through the field. Headed down to turn numbers 1 and 2, and still that 26 car trying to go on the upswing. Started this race, oh boy, there's a catch to the wall. Started this race all the way back in 18th though, and now running 11 spots higher than when he started this race. A great run for Niparis.
who really has stayed up in this top 10 since the just staying out pretty much. I'm going to stop saying strategy call, but all that being said and done, the 26 has been
we don't have
remaining in this
anymore. Those got shot 50 laps ago. They got taken behind the woodshed, given the old yellow treatment.
Well, nonetheless, that 26 of Jake Nippers keeping it on track as actually the leader of Jordan Fisher coming down pit road here under green flag.
So the driver that was your pole sitter at the start of the night for TI Racing now into the box. And Austin Thompson going to come down as well.
It's a big gamble for the 35, just considering if a caution comes out. But the undercut is worth a lot here at Darlington. Get some precious seconds back on the competitors in front. So that's going to give Cosman Ionoshu the lead as of now, with Ethan Amberg falling back really far now. He's going to potentially be coming down pit road here as well now. The 14 is coming down pit road with Jordan Fisher, Austin Thompson trying to stay along with some of his competitors while the other drivers all stay out another couple laps.
And all of this as we enter 40 laps to go, now in what has been by far the longest green flag run that we have seen all night here so far. But there is still plenty of more time for things to go sideways, as Darlington has a way of just being Darlington, is I think the best way that I could describe this. Nicholas Cote trying to fend off Ryan Newman and Jason Shu simultaneously. All three of the drivers on the same tire strat. Shu's in the wall. Coates in the wall. Newman bangs doors with Shu. And that's going to leave Ryan Newman right on the back bumper of Nicholas Cote. And Coates' right front is broke.
It's not what you want to see for those drivers down pit road. Just hard, aggressive driving here for these drivers. Currently in the mid-teens, but look at that right front.
Yeah, look at how far bent inward it is. Like, that car is... You know what? It might be helping him turn the car now that I think about it, but it's not going to be doing him any favors down the straights.
I can't think that car has any sort of I mean, Ryan Newman, I thought, had the run too, and he just got loose coming out of 4 there. Still going to keep the position, but yeah, that 48 is hurting nonetheless. Just absolutely keeps it into the wall for that Manconi setup shot machine.
Boy, it has been a journey as Nicholas Cote continues to fight this one out with Ryan Newman hot on his heels. Newman catches the wall. Here comes Austin Thompson. Thompson trying to see if he can't look to the inside. Now, Thompson has already been down pit road. He is on fresh tires and is just trying to pick his way through the lap traffic.
And there is some grip under that white dotted line on the apron. So, you know, Austin Thompson can use that line if he needs to get around this lap traffic like he's doing now. Getting real close with Nicholas Cote, who gets into the wall a little bit yet again, but that 23 still unscathed, keeps on going. Ryan Newman into the wall, able to save it, coming out of 4, got a little, or that's 2, keeping it off the inside wall. As we look back here, this is James Goodwin, Justin Mello. This is the battle for 5th on track right now, but provisionally they're losing a lot of time to these drivers coming down pit road. You can see how fast Jordan Fisher is compared to these drivers here, Colton Easterday, Garrett Austin, and then company.
Yeah, Jordan Fisher, one of the lead runners today. Oh, look out, is Ernie Ludwig nearly checked into him, and that could have been a little bit risky down the back chute. I don't think Ernie Ludwig is feeling very confident inside that car at all right now. It is being made perfectly obvious by how twitchy a lot of those movements are. He does have quite a bit of damage on the 66, and I feel like he's just struggling to find consistency with it. Caution! Yellow flag of the day. Jason Shu has been turned in turn 3. Careful now.
Keep it up there.
Careful. There you go. You and I both entered spotter mode there for a hot second.
I mean, Jason Chu also had a great view just sitting up on the banking there in turn 4. Couldn't ask to see a better part of the track there to be backwards. But all that being said and done, we were sitting around the 3 of Jason Chu with Ryan Newman on the outside there going into 1 here. Looking back at the replay.
Oh, just drifted up the racetrack. He did that to himself.
Yeah, Ryan Newman. I mean, yeah, you couldn't do anything different if you're Ryan Newman. He was practically in the wall already to start that whole ordeal. And that is going to be a pain for a lot of the drivers that brought it down pit road early. We're going to take another look at a different angle here. And, you know, I really can't say anything. Yeah, Ryan Newman was already in the wall. So Shu just drifted right up there. And all these drivers were on those worn tires that were battling it out there in the mid-teens. Just seemed like they were just ready to go to war.
33 laps to go. And this is going to bring everybody that had to come down pit road down into the lane. This is a good time because the field run around 55 laps. These drivers have been out there for 55. That's, of course, counting 2 caution laps, but Inoshu, Applegate, Gracias, they were all right on the edge of being able to make it. Nicholas Coatsman black flagged in pit road.
That might be some motivation to get that 48 a little bit. His damage is repaired here as they bring it all down pit road. It's a very busy, the busiest we've seen pit road all night, following the longest green flag run we've seen tonight. And that being said and done, everyone, even everyone outside of Jordan Fisher on back who brought it down pit road, and Mark McFadden also going to bring it down pit road.
Game Glass Lucky Dog winner coming down to the box, wanted to make this an easy fuel call. Good to go from here to the end. Take another look up top from the Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select Replay, at the mess that unfolds on the other end of the racetrack here with Jason Shu, as he is going to go up and into the outside wall. If we can find, there we go. That's well after it's happened. Here we go again. He's already going to go down the side. He just entered the corner way too shallow, too confident with that fresh rubber. And again, he's going to do that to himself. Tough break, but that is another look at the Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select Replay. At Ryan Newman and Associates, powered by Remax Select, they believe that finding your dream home should be an exciting and seamless experience. Serving all of Michigan, their dedicated team brings years of expertise and a commitment to personalized professional service that makes buying or selling a home simple and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time buyer, seasoned investor, or looking anywhere in the United States, they can help by referring you to top professionals across the country. Trust Ryan Newman and Associates to guide you every step of the way. Your future starts with them. Go make it a reality. And all of this will lead us to what will be 30 laps to go at the line when we go green.
Some fresh faces leading the field nonetheless. Cosman Inoshu, Grant Applegate, who battled his way back through the field. We saw him have a lot of troubles making his way up through the field, but now slowly but surely back up to that front row, along with Jake Niparis, Jason Gracias, Justin Melilo, James Goodwin in those top 3 rows. Nicholas Coate, you can see in 11th, going to have to bring it down pit road. Eventually here to serve his black flag penalty. Nonetheless, the pace car brings it down pit road. We're not going green, actually. The pace car will come back on the pit, or come back off pit road.
That
and
makes
we're going to
sense.
extend it by 1 caution.
Well, look at how many cars are still trying to catch the tail end of the field here. I mean, no one was ready to go on that restart. So I like the call, you know, and I've always said this before. I know some people might get frustrated with delayed greens, but I would much rather take an extra lap and make sure everybody's ready to go rather than you just send it early and then it just becomes a complete mess on the restart.
And also with so many drivers having to take the wave around and everyone's going to be stacked up on that inside line, some of these drivers that are just sitting practically, you know, in maybe 18th, they're going to be potentially they're going to be coming out of turn 4 when these leaders are going into turn 1 and at a huge disadvantage on this restart just because of the length of that inside line. Because you'll take a look back here, there is only about 6 cars on that outside line, and then you see everyone else trucking it through 1 and 2 and just keeps on going and going and going.
A lot of drivers stayed out to try to get the lap back, having come down pit road. So you got 21 left on the lap, 22nd on down. Now trapped 1 lap down. Ernie Ludwig in the lucky dog spot. And if he gets it, it'll be about the 4th time tonight that he gets the game glass lucky dog. Inoshu leading the way. And he's going to look to lead this field back to green. Hold on. Nearly kicking the tail end out there.
Spinning the tires just can happen here, absolutely, at Darlington. And we saw a little bit of case there. Luckily, everyone keeping it going, though, as Inoshu gets a huge lead in front of Applegate. Everyone's single file yet again as the rest of the field. Martin Plute hard into the wall back there further on back and slows up the rest of this field, stacks them up further on back, including Garrett Austin and then company. But we stay green. Everyone keep going. You can see also Nicholas Coate now coming down pit road, it looks like, falling down the timing table, but also Jordan Fisher in 12th with a caution coming out.
Cosman Inoshu will lead the way as well as the yellow flag comes out, and it looked like Inoshu just barely managed to jump him for the lead of the race, and it's Ryan Newman that has spun around and looking like potentially Austin Thompson getting caught up as well. I know Ryan Giertzma had to take a tow, and he is now down pit row. So a hefty mess on the front stretch. Let's take a look to the Ryan Newman Associates, powered by Remax Select Replay.
All that being said and done. Oh, David Farella getting real close to the 15 of Ryan Newman. Got him spun around there. He saved it initially. Oh, Martin Plute, a rocket ship.
Oh, my word.
That was the hardest.
Oh, and then another huge hit. There's where Austin Thompson got his black flag from. Ryan Giertzma collected with Ronnie Norman up against the outside wall. Gosh, that was a brutal crash on the front stretch.
Martin Plute hit it so hard he just phased out of existence. What happened there? Initially starts with Ryan Newman, but just also
bam!
Oh,
big lick for Ryan Newman, and then there you see Giertzma with all of his damage caught up.
I think also Ronnie Norman also got collected there against the wall. Nothing dangerous for him, but take a look back at this hit with the 81.
This was completely isolated, and then he's going to come down and just absolutely destroy the Sunoco Fuels restart zone. All four wheels lifted off the ground. Again, 3,400 pounds. Unbelievable.
Wow.
A lot of Twisted Steel out there tonight, and the Twisted Steel Stake Appeal number 81, I'm sure was hoping not to be among them. Evidently, things have not gone that way. Tonight's race, we've talked about a lot of the sponsors. Well, of course, shout out Beer Journal as well. One of the largest online collections of original content dedicated to covering beer culture, education, and the advancement of the beer industry. With thousands of articles and millions of unique visitors and exposure in over 200 countries, Beer Journal paves the way to enabling category growth, engaging a broader consumer base, and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeersJournal.com, the best in beer. It'll be under 25 to go when we come back to the green flag, and at this point, we might be in a situation where the win is going to be just whoever's left.
Seriously, yeah, it has been a wrecking ball of a night here for a lot of the drivers that, we did see a lot of drivers get trapped a lap down, but just the absolute hard hits we've seen here tonight. A lot of drivers getting thrown up into the air. Martin Plute, we saw there, just taking a look back now. That hard hit. Oh.
He was going down to avoid the other three cars. He never knew that Ryan Newman was down there. Had no chance to react to that.
Now, all that being said, done. A familiar front of the field is not much. Obviously, we didn't have too many green flag laps to go there. So all that being said and done, now Grant Applegate on a line on the inside with Cosmanai and No Shoe on the outside. Jake Niparis on the inside with Justin Mello right behind the 24. And right behind them, James Goodwin with Jason Gracias right there in row 3 for the final 24 laps here this time by. We'll see what drivers, if they get aggressive, maybe a little too aggressive here to close out the race tonight.
Into the Sunoco Fuels restart zone, then has just been given a new marking by that number 81 car. Green flag is in the air. And we once again hightail towards turn number 1. Jordan Fisher, Grant Applegate trying to get the jump on Inosha here into the opening corner. Inosha wanted to see if he can hold on around the outside, and he's got him round the top. But he's going to have to defend here. And immediately goes to cover off the inside. That lets Justin Mello pull around the outside of 57, and that's going to give Inosha some much-needed breathing room into turn 3.
Battle for second ongoing with Mello looking to the outside. If he's going to scrape the wall a little bit, though, that's going to stall his momentum and going to give Applegate the advantage going into 1. He's going to be able to slide up right in front of the 53, as Mello may be considering going to the inside there, but not going to be able to in that fresh 53 paint scheme, as he's currently sitting in the last spot on the podium. Now going to have to defend against Jake Niparis, who's looking to the inside in the 26, nose to nose, going through 3 and 4, but Mello is going to have that preferred line on the outside if he keeps it out of the wall and edges it out there as we have a caution.
Mark McFadden, Jawbone Motorsports. Oh, and a big hit with Zachary Cox up top. Grant Applegate puts down fastest lap of the race, but yet another big crash, and it has not been McFadden's season. The Canadian has been having a tough time of it. And once again, we are in it for the long haul. Taking a look back at the Ryan Newman and Associates Power Remax Select replay. Jeremiah Vincent will get the Game Glass Lucky Dog. And you're looking for the driver, the number 22, Mark McFadden, down the back straightaway. Got the 48 of Nicholas Coe on the inside, and it's going to be Garrett Austin again, the 34, getting involved in an incident, running into the back of the 22, spins up the track, big hit into the outside wall, and Justin thinks he might have it. He might be safe. Philip Scott tags him. He slides to the track, right into the path of Zachary Cox.
Hard hit for the 51 and absolutely stops him in his tracks. And I think the 22 might have been out of sorts the entire front stretch, and maybe Garrett Austin thought he was going to have a better entry, or down the back stretch, I should say. Nonetheless, have a better entry there. Just gets into that left driver's side corner panel and sends him spinning around and around.
You saw Herbie Keita getting spun out there as well, down to the inside of the racetrack. Jeremiah Vincent running that very wounded race car, but he will walk away out of this one with the Game Glass Lucky Dog with about 20 laps to go.
With making it now 19 cars on the lead lap after Jeremiah Vincent makes it around here, it's going to be, just to say the least, if you could survive at this point, you're guaranteed pretty much a top 20 position. And nonetheless, if you're looking like anything better than what the 8 is looking like right now, I think you can come out of Darlington saying at least you're a winner in your own mind and not just, breaking the car as a lot of these drivers have tonight, getting hard into that outside wall, inside wall, even the restart zone. No matter where you look on this track, there has been some bones, it seems like, for a lot of these drivers. But to keep it up at the front right now, Grant Applegate, Colin Ionoshu have been pretty entertaining on these restarts. It has seemed like whenever these restarts have been occurring, the leader gets out and gets a good bubble in front of second, the second files right in behind. But that last restart and the restart before, we saw Applegate keeping it with Ionoshu. It'll be entertaining to see if that 57 is going to be able to do the same thing this time by, and maybe Melolo join the picture as well. It was exciting for that last restart, and only with 19 to go this time by, you want to try and start to up the ante, but maybe for a lot of these drivers, just try to survive, try to see what will happen here, and keep the car in one piece nonetheless. Obviously, at this point, it just seems like keeping the car nice and refreshed like the 57 or 24 might be the greatest victory you'll get here tonight.
Green flag coming around into turn numbers 3 and 4 as the field is going to look to duke it out. 19 laps the distance in the Sunoco Fuels restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Oh boy, and they are already crashing into the outside wall. Garrett Austin leaned on the door of Corey Hutchinson, and that caused 21 to be unsettled when he stamped on the gas.
I think a couple black flags also came out of that. We'll see who has to serve. Oh, around goes Jason Garcia. It's off the front bumper of James Goodwin. He sends it back up the track.
Goodwin. And Cotilla smokes the inside wall. No caution yet. Look at it. We're going to keep this. Now the caution's out.
That was a late caution. What in the world?
Not a late caution. I think our overlay was just a little bit delayed on that one.
Oh, gotcha.
Boy. And it keeps on going. It's the race that keeps on giving. We just cannot get away from problems here. That's in progress. You see Garcia's already going down to the inside and then up the track. And, Cotilla did run into the 11 and shoved them into the outside wall. Tough break.
Everyone's got it. Trying to get around it yet again. For the drivers that have been stuck back here in the back half of the field, they have seen a lot of action here tonight as we watch again as the one gets sent right around. not as much damage as you think. And
boy.
hard into that 5. We've had some great saves here tonight. Unable to save it from the inside wall as we're taking a look here from the cockpit of James Goodwin.
Yeah, he's the first one to go around, and then there is Cotilla. Hard into the inside wall for the Highline Motorsports number 5.
You know, it feels weird that, you know, this, I don't feel like we've talked about tires or anything outside of just surviving tonight. You know, it's Darlington. It does eat the tires, but it just feels weird to not talk about it at any point. Obviously, with everyone, you know, stopping and going, it just, you know, a lot of these drivers, it might be a mental game at this point. Because I could tell you, being behind the wheel for, you know, a lot of these cautions, just lap after lap, sitting behind this pace car who might be leading the most amount of laps here tonight, it just feels like, you know, you're just running through a brick wall every time these cautions come out, just trying to see when will the final caution be and just being ready for it. And I think Applegate, if he has the chance, it seems like he has the speed to get around the 24. He just has to be allowed the time to do so. And it just hasn't been available to him in these last 3 restarts, which it's going to be interesting because also Jake Niparis has been fast so far as well. He's been sticking it up here. He's currently in a podium position, but, you know, see if that 26 also has something to say, because outside of this front row, it seems like these two have been just on a mission to try to figure out who's going to finish first, who's going to finish second, with now Applegate taking that fastest lap. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see if we can get 15 laps to finish out tonight and eventually see if these two can duke it out to end this thing.
So the field going to continue to drive this one out. And we will have a 15-lap dash to the finish here. Anticipated to continue to be quite the journey that we have been on this afternoon. 38 cars, 36 cars started this race, and shocked that we still have 30 on the racetrack. But only 18 are on the lead lap. Green flag coming out this time by Brad. 15 laps to go. I know she's still up top. Grant Applegate will continue to have to chip at him. So far, he has not had an answer for the Tiltify Camry. Green flag is out.
A little tire spin by Niparis on the inside. That's going to give Milello the quick 3rd place position. Now potentially keeping it there as well. Everyone's keeping it single file, couple double file further back in the field here.
Oh, look
the
out!
top 2 saves it.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what the point of that was. They tried to put it 3 wide. Look out, and up the track gonna go Nicholas Coates. And spinning in turn 3 is Ronnie Norman as well. That was just clumsy.
It was you could tell, I mean, obviously, with how Applegate and everyone else up there was just getting staffed together, it was not going to be a good turn 3, to say the least. And Jordan Fisher also pushed his way back up to 2nd now, which is very impressive to see after all of this being said and done. But it all started back up here with Applegate and Milello going through 1 and 2. And, you know, it just slowly, it was one of the slowest wrecks you'll probably see at Darlington eventually, because these two got into each other, had it saved for the time being. Then Easterday,
I don't
Fisher
get it. Like,
joined
lift. Lift.
Yeah.
Go anywhere but where the cars are. What are we doing here? And then somewhere in the midst of all of this, Ronnie Norman is going to end up going around. See him. There he is at the tail end, just entering the fray. Oh, he got turned by Nicholas Coates when Coates lit up the racetrack.
The slightest touch, too. I didn't actually think the 32 got touched, but yeah, he got sent right around by the 17. Wow. That is unfortunate. 32, who's already had not the greatest of nights so far. Much like others, not the greatest of nights for, you know, trying to keep the car clean. But, you know, I really don't know exactly what the 95 was going for there.
I don't get it. Like, was he trying to maybe put them 3 wide?
He was, I don't know if he was just hoping the window would open, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you because there was a lot of room on the outside there as we ride on board with the Gold Octopus Motorsports 95.
He never lifted, never even thought about touching the brakes.
And I think he was just so committed also to get to the inside of Mello. He didn't care where they were on the track. Like, it just seemed like he was just following them
that
down.
almost looks intentional. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I want to say I know she might be the only person on this track right now that hasn't been involved in anything. I don't have that statistically to say that is correct, but obviously when you're at the front or near the front for a lot of these, you don't get involved. So that 24, looking very good with the throwback scheme, that very reminiscent DuPont machine of the 24 that I could think of. But, Jordan Fisher's back up here, and Colton Easterday is right there as well now in that 95. So some very fast drivers, also some, drivers willing to do anything to try to see what they can get out of this top positions now. So we said last time there'd be a 15-lap dash. I don't know if we'll say there's an 11-lap dash, but it would be very cool to see that 11-lap dash happen here and see if maybe these guys can figure it out or try to at least have a great ending to this race.
Iron Ocean has still a TI Racer driver up top. Jordan Fisher says, all right, I guess I'll take a crack at it. So we're going to go back to green, this time by 11 laps the distance. And something tells me we are still not going to be coming out of this one fully clean. Green flag is back in the air with 11 to go.
She gets to jump in front of Fisher, and then it's too wide with Easterday and Niparis, and pretty much everyone further on back. See if everyone can make it out of turn 1 and 2 here cleanly. Right up in front.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're spinning, wrecking in the back. We're all able to hold it somehow, and everyone keeps it off the inside wall.
The AEW Plute machine able to keep it straight, and we keep on going. Phillips Scott side by side. It looks like also Jake Niparis, Colt in Easterday switched the third place positioned out. Now that 26 up into the podium positions as everyone's still trying to just survive here now with 10 to go.
Oh, and into the outside wall again and again. Easterday nearly runs into the back of the number 26. Trouble behind. Scott Leonard spinning into the inside wall. Back up towards traffic. No yellow flag yet. Now it comes out. Easterday just barely holds on to third critically. Jordan Fisher not able to jump by an Ocean for the lead. He was alongside him at the moment of caution.
Reclaims the fastest lap. That all being said and done, that's, still going to be stuck behind the 24 as everyone files back behind the pace cars. We take a look back to see what exactly happened further back on in the field.
Another look at the Ryan Newman and Associates powered by Remax Select replay. And it was Scott Leonard. He got turned by Farella, it looks like there.
Oh,
pretty
hard
hard
to the inside wall.
And he did a good job to at least lock it down, and he slid towards the racetrack, but he did not go up and into traffic. They nearly wrecked, though, coming down onto the into turn number 3 there. And I do want to get another look at that one, by the way, because holy cow, that was something headed onto the back straightaway. Take another look at this one again. And this is going to be that mad dash that we had coming towards the back.
We were looking towards the front, but it looks like when you look back here behind Garrett Austin and company, it all starting with the 92 of Martin Plute coming out at 2, real close with Mello, and just got loose, stacked him up. But it just...
They did a great job not to wreck there. That could have been a really big mess.
Absolutely. 92, I think, used Malello as a little bit of a crutch there to save it coming out of turn 2, and everyone keeps it forward and for another lap now as we're coming to, it's going to be, I believe, 6 to go when the green flag drops. So not completely out of the woods yet, but for Ianoshu, he's been doing great on these short runs. So this is might be what he's been wishing for, and just being able to get out in front and become a brick wall to try and take this one away.
So the field is going to be going back at it again. I don't think we got a game glass lucky dog there. I think Scott Leonard would have been the recipient of that, but he ended up spinning to the inside wall. So a tough break for him, but Cosmo Inoshu now leads the way. 6 to go. Still have one more effort to go.
And, you know, Nipper's fallen back to that third row now with Matt Montembeau joining the picture. Throws a little bit of a wrench into the fresh faces up at the front. But all that being said and done, 6 laps is not long, especially considering that's only about 8 miles. So these drivers got to get it together and see if they can try and maybe get some good points out of today. Nonetheless, Darlington maybe advance themselves in the in-season bracket challenge. Nonetheless, you know, if you survive tonight, you have pretty good odds to move to the next round, so, and get some good points. So regardless, you know, all that being said and done, Inoshu Fisher are going to try and lead this field to potentially the last green flag stop or restart here.
To the front straightaway and back into the Sunoco Fuels restart zone. Green flag is out. 6 to go. Mark McFadden in the middle, pulls the inside. Jordan Fisher has jumped Inoshu on the start, trying to mug him into turn number 1. Going to get a little bit dicey here. Fisher up top. Inoshu squeezing him in, but Fisher pulls around him for the lead.
Fisher did a great job to jump that start and not, you know, keep himself alongside the 24 enough to where he had to let off the gas and allow the 35 to get back to where he was very early on in this race. If we look back further back, this is the battle for 9th and 7th. Oh,
trouble!
Around goes a lot of drivers.
Terrell Wheeler around, and that's going to stack everybody up, and it's going to be the big one on the front straightaway for the second time tonight. Farrella's involved. Caution is out. And that could force this race into overtime.
One time Inoshu can hold Fisher off. Might not be, obviously, the greatest of times going into potential overtime here. But see what happened further back on in the pack. Bring this whole thing out.
And to the right, Newman Associates Power Remax Select Replay, and Terrell Wheeler, that's already in progress. Dave Farella got turned around, Coat went into the outside wall, Branson got involved, and Geertzman out of control, plows into the door of the 92. Stacy Hunter got involved on the inside. Just a tough break all around. Up front, it was Jeremiah Vincent that turned the 43.
Hard contact for the 71.
No kidding.
Stacy Hunter.
And then going into turn number 1, it was a bold pass for the lead up top. Just look at how tight this gets between the 24. I thought for sure Inoshu was going to clean Fisher out. Right up by the outside wall with less than a sheet of paper between the two. And he pulls it off.
It doesn't get any closer than that. And Fisher did an immaculate job of keeping it to the outside going into 1. And that's all it took. Because that 24 got real tight, real quick. And it all ended up in favor of the 35. But all that being said and done, still, you have another restart. You got to be the opposite opposer here and try to hold off that 24 for one more restart with a hungry crowd behind as well. And we'll see exactly how this all ends up. Because so far this season in the Speed Cup season so far, it has, not been a sure thing to say the least when it comes to the closing laps. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Jason Shue will be the recipient of the Game Glass Lucky Dog. And that will put him up to now the lead lap. Next driver in the line, Arabia Caton. Overtime attempt 1 of 2 this afternoon. We'll tag on 2 laps and see if we can make it to the white flag. Inoshu's got a lot to prove this season. He has not been having a great season. He would love a win to get himself back into contention proper.
Jordan Fisher is definitely one of the competitors that he, isn't shying away from the pressure right now. He's on that outside again. And it's a similar setup to what we saw in the last restart. So Fisher will now be able to lead the field, so he won't have to jump the gun and try to stick with the 24 into one. He can control the field, control the restart zone, and that all being said and done, control his outcome potentially here for the first overtime attempt. As you look further back, you got Matt Montembeau, Colton Easterday, yet again, still in that second row. And Grant Applegate in the 57 moves his way up into that third row, currently on the outside lane with Ethan Amberg. It'll be an interesting one here, Nolan. I think we'll see a lot of daring moves potentially in this overtime attempt.
I know she hasn't won since the season finale at Homestead back in November. Looking like he wants to get the job done here this afternoon. Jordan Fisher, meanwhile, took 2 wins back-to-back, and then his teammate Grant Applegate won the last week. TI Racing has won all 3 of the last 3 races, and they're looking to do it again for number 4. Green flag back in the air, 2 laps to go. Jordan Fisher on a good getaway. Trouble already crashing behind. Mark McFadden going around. Not sure if we're going to get a yellow flag on that one. Looking like we're going to race it out.
With that staying green, Jordan Fisher had a heck of a jump. I think Cosman Inoshu got caught sleeping at the gun there, and now going to be 0.2 of a second behind as everyone else trying to figure it out further on back.
Oh, trouble into the outside wall for Grant Applegate. Colton Easterday sliding up into the outside wall. Caution not going to come out, and we are at the white flag. 1 lap to go this afternoon. Jordan Fisher screaming into turn numbers 1 and 2. Running clear, trying to take win number 3 on the season. He's won 2 of the last 3, looking to win 3 of the last 4. Applegate wants to get to the podium. He's going to go around the outside of Easterday. Jordan Fisher with no competition. It's the 4th win in a row for TI Racing at Darlington. Crashing, and I think Easterday got taken out by Applegate in turn 4.
Falling all the way back now to 17th, 18th position across the stripe. But nonetheless, Jordan Fisher running the fastest lap on the most critical lap. That is the last lap. You can see an Inoshu giving props to the 35 for pretty much dueling it out for about 6 restarts straight.
Solid drive from Jordan Fisher. We'll get a look at what happened to Colton Easterday in just a moment, because that obviously was a huge decider in who took the 3rd place spot. But for TI Racing, the 3rd, make that 4th win in a row, 3rd for Jordan Fisher. Now has won 3 of the last 4. And so far, TI Racing looking like the new team on the block to beat in 2026.
Starting the season off right, and definitely going to give you some good points here going out of Darlington. That seemed like just the longest battle of attrition in Speed Cup seasons prior.
We've had a few in Martinsville, which is coming up next week. That is a terrifying prospect in all of this. Oh, boy. Gonna get a look back. This is what happened coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4. With Colton Easterday, he was alongside Grant Applegate. Oh, he did that to himself. Applegate ran into the wall, and Easterday spun himself out.
Kept it out of the track, though, and no one else got collected, but a lot of positions lost for that 95, who was set up for a podium position, but that 57 was on a mission today. He was one of the fastest cars out here, and when it mattered most, he had that outside line as Easterday was trying to defend to the inside, and all the 95 could really do was try to squeeze him in a little too hard into that outside wall. 95 sent right around. You saw Matt Montembeau and Ethan Amberg able to slide on the inside, and then everyone else able to go on by.
Tough break for a bunch of the field here this afternoon. I'm sure for a lot of drivers, this is a race they're going to want to put in the rearview mirror, but it'll be deja vu, no doubt, next week at Martinsville. Number 1, it's Jordan Fisher, 3rd win in 4 races. TI Racing remains on top. Cosman Inoshu down to number 2. Grant Applegate, Fisher's teammate and winner last week, picks up 3rd. Montembeau in 4th, Amberg in 5th, Jason Garcias in 6th, Jake Nipperis in 7th, Mello, Goodwin, Garrett Austin round out the top 10.
11th, it's Jeremiah Vincent, followed by Philip Scott, Munatsi Major, Peyton Tolik, Jason Shu, and then 16th, Ernie Ludwig, Corey Hutchinson. Colton Easterday slides back to 18th, Tim Branson in 19th, and Terrell Wheeler finishes in 20th for LGR Motors.
Back then, 21st through 30th, it's Nicholas Cote and Arabia Caton. Then 2 laps down is Scott Lennon and David Farella. 3 down, you find Mark McFadden and Ronnie Norman. We're now into drivers that did not finish this race, with Zachary Cox among them, along with Stacey Hunter, Nathan Cotilla, and Ryan Geertzma.
Pushing through the rest of the field, Austin Thompson, Ryan Newman, Martin Plute, Joey Barrett, Jeffrey Reed Jr., Austin Wingard, 36 field that started here tonight ends out with Austin Wingard.
Tough break for a good chunk of drivers here this afternoon as we are gearing up to go back to the victory lane, and we will look to give a chit-chat in here with Jordan Fisher, taking yet another solid race win this afternoon as he comes home with his 3rd win of 2026, and this time he had to work for it. Jordan, congratulations on winning 3 out of the last 4 races. This one, though, I think has got to be one of the most unique wins you've taken so far on the season. Jordan, do we have you? Do we have Jordan Fisher with us? Maybe? Okay, well, we will try to get a hold of him later on. Tell you what, let's start from the back. We'll start with the other. Oh, hold on. Do we have him now?
Yeah.
There we go. Now we have you.
Yes.
Hi, Jordan. What a win.
Yes. So.
Talk us through the run tonight. It was obviously very attrition-filled. You found yourself at the back on pit strategy and then having to claw your way back to the front. You're one of the few clean cars still on this racetrack.
Yeah, it was quite the eventful race. You know, having that clean air up front was really, really nice early on. And then obviously with the yellow coming out when I had already pitted, throwing me in the back was a drive and a half to just get up there and in the front. And I was very fortunate with all the cautions that were dropping to give myself a chance to get up, back in the clean air up in the front. So took advantage of a good restart there and got around Cosman, and from there on it was smooth sailing.
Kind of walk us through how the season has gone in your eyes so far. Obviously, you're continuing to fight your way through in the bracket challenge, and you're now on win number 3 in just the opening 7 rounds of the championship. I mean, it's been one of the best season openers you could probably have.
I think I have 2 wins in this league, if I remember. I was leading Phoenix, and I feel like I somewhat threw away that race myself with the speed that we had there. So I was really disappointed in myself. So there's been a lot of ups and downs, but to finally put a clean race, no mistakes, all together like this, it was very much needed for the points. So from here on out, it's just a matter of staying consistent and trying to get as many wins or just solid finishes the rest of the season.
Well, it's been a solid effort for you so far here in 2026, and no doubt the points are going to continue to swing your way. We wish you the best of luck next week when we swing to Martinsville.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything you do.
Jordan Fisher from TI Racing comes home number 1, and Brad, you've caught up with Cosman Inoshu from number 2.
Yeah, I'm down here with the cleanest car on track still, Cosman Inoshu in the 24. And Cosman, it was a war tonight to try and keep that car clean, and nonetheless, just try to mentally keep yourself sane for a certain point. Take us through your mentality through the end of this race and also through your entire race.
Well, Brad, the dumb move of the race goes to me because I didn't put enough fuel in the car, and we were dump trucking. With clean air, this thing felt like we were 30 cars trailing. Unbelievable that I actually got to 2. I can't believe that I got second out of it still. Because, man, I mean, I got passed for the lead on the outside. It was that bad.
Yeah, it's just
no turn. I don't know. I don't know what the physics are, but I thought it would be the opposite of getting some turn. Yeah.
It seemed like, it was, for a lot of drivers, obviously Darlington being the driver track that it is, it's a rough going for some, but obviously you had a great finish in second place, obviously with, I guess, what you said here with, having not a lot of gas in the tank. Looking forward into pretty much 2 short tracks and a very wide track in Pocono. How are you feeling going into the next set of 3 races?
Believe it or not, I have no idea what those races are. You just told me it's 2 short tracks and Pocono. So Pocono, I despise that track. I don't know why. I don't like it. It's never been a good track to watch or to race. So yeah, the others, I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah.
Well, we got Martinsville and Bristol, so hopefully that maybe might be a little more exciting for you and your team outside of Pocono. But anyone you'd like to shout out here while you're up here in the booth?
We're looking forward to Bristol, that's for sure. Martinsville, we're going to war. Of course, always shout out to Aftermark Coffee, Tiltify, Juicy Spider, Pitstop TV, Whiplash Sim Cams, and Lucky Ducks Motorsports and Rabs Intro for all they do for hopping on our car this year. And you guys, of course, and you guys in the league. They do a fantastic job. I rewatch the broadcasts. It's a pleasure to listen to you guys in the morning.
Well, good. I'm happy my voice can at least be enjoyable in the morning. That's good to hear. And nonetheless,
you're sleeping when that's happening, so
yeah. Well, nonetheless, Cosmin, thanks again for joining us up here in the booth, and we hope you have a great rest of your day here and see you next week for Martinsville.
Likewise, and thank you for having us.
And that was your second place finisher, Cosmin Ionoshu, in the 24 from FTF Racing. We're going to throw it back up to the booth with Nolan for third place finisher, Grant Applegate.
Grant Applegate comes on third this afternoon, so it's a double TI Racing podium this afternoon. Grant, you guys have started on pole position for all 4 of the last 4 races here between yourself and your teammate Jordan Fisher. Safe to say, TI Racing is really becoming the new team on the block to beat here this afternoon with now 2 wins under your guys' belts. And it appears we might yet be having even more issues here. We are having a few connection difficulties, even on our end, it looks like. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get in touch with the Grant Applegate. We'll try this again. Do we have you now, Grant?
Yeah, I think we do.
There we go. So things are looking all settled now. But, you guys are becoming the new team on the block to beat all 4 of the last 4 races. You guys have come away out of this one with a pole position this afternoon. And overall, I think it's safe to say with now 2 wins in you guys' belts, you're here to stay.
We're hoping so. Yeah, that race was interesting to say the least. Cautions and strategy just really mixed it up. So for Fisher to get a lap down and then back to the lead, and then for me to get spun out and still manage to get top 3, that's really good job on the team's part.
Kind of want to look back to a couple of the incidents that we had early in the race. Obviously, Colton Easterday, and you tangled a couple of times. You tangled once with about 15 laps to go, and then again on the last lap there. Anything to it, or is it just hard racing to Darlington, do you reckon?
I mean, if somebody's going to run me over with 15 to go, then, I'm not going to give him an inch of 2 to go. If he wants to be mad about it, he can be mad about it. But, he spun me and Justin out and ruined Justin's race because he just ran him over. It's not like he went for a gap or anything. He just physically did not lift and ran him over. So he can be mad at me for saying that. I don't really understand what his thought process was. At some point, there's just not a gap and you have to lift, especially at Darlington. We talk about it all the time. Just if people would give and take, you would be able to have a race. But I don't know. We had a couple decent runs, and then just caution after caution at the end there. I don't know. I'm hoping nobody's mad at me about it. The guy. I don't have any hard feelings with Colton. I feel like it was done and dealt with once I passed him back at the end of the race, and so yeah.
Well, looking forward then to the next bout going forward. It's going to be at Martinsville, and if today was a race of survival, next week's going to be a totally different animal. What's going to be the game plan for next weekend? Who are you looking over your shoulder for?
I've never ran most leagues don't run Martinsville. I don't think I've ever ran a league race at Martinsville, so I have no clue what to expect. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds like a plan. Wish you the best of luck then when we go racing next week in Virginia. Congratulations on taking home number 3, and we'll see you next time.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Applegate comes home third this afternoon. And Brad, that is going to do it for us here this afternoon. Quite the journey that we were on all throughout this afternoon. And next week is Martinsville. Yet again, another track needing no introduction.
Yeah, the paperclip will bring out a lot of tempers. If you did not hear him already or see him already here in Darlington, they're going to definitely come out in Martinsville and Bristol in 2 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how aggressive some of these drivers get next week, and also just how overall the paperclip will treat the Speed Cup Series.
Still a lot of action yet to come on Green Flag TV when we go racing next time out. It is, of course, going to be over on Saturday afternoon for the VSCA Sports Car Championship and, of course, de Monterey at Laguna Seca. FTR will have the 6 hours of Spa at over in the Ardennes for their first race of the season. And then, of course, the SRA IL Truck Series will take to the Coliseum. They'll be racing at Bristol. Blaze Metals Arca Series goes to a different behemoth. They're going to Dover for the Motor City Racing MC Championship, headed to the Mulsanne circuit. It's circuit at 24-hour Du Mans on Sunday afternoon. CL Cup Series action back for more Darlington, and then the High Tide Race Relay takes to Phoenix as well. If you want to find out more about who you are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv. The quarterfinals await at Martinsville Speedway, and the paperclip is bound to throw up some action as always. We'll see you there when we go racing for the third round in the Bracket Challenge.